Rapunzel. Once upon a time, there was a man and a woman. They wanted a child for a long time. Finally, they were expecting a baby. One day, the woman looked out the window, and she saw a big garden next door. The garden was full of beautiful flowers and vegetables. The woman wanted to eat some Rapunzel. The woman told her husband.
I want some Rapunzel.
Her husband loved her a lot. So he climbed over the high wall and entered the garden. The garden belonged to a witch. But the man did not know that. He took some Rapunzel for his wife. She ate some, and it tasted very good. The next day, the woman wanted more Rapunzel. She told her husband,
Please, bring me some more Rapunzel.
So the husband went to the garden again. But this time, the witch saw him, and she was very angry.
How dare you steal my Rapunzel?
She said. The man was afraid.
Please do not hurt me,
He said.
my wife wanted it.
The witch thought for a moment. Then she said,
I will let you take the Rapunzel, but you must give me something.
The man asked,
What do you want?
When your baby is born, give it to me.
said the witch. The man was scared, but he nodded. Soon, the woman gave birth to a baby girl. That very same day, the witch came. She took the baby away with her. The witch took the baby to a forest. She named the baby Rapunzel. The witch put Rapunzel in a big and tall tower. The tower was deep in the forest. It had no doors or stairs. So Rapunzel could not leave the tower. Rapunzel grew up in the tower. She had long and golden hair. The witch came to visit Rapunzel every day. At the bottom of the tower, she cried,
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair.
Then Rapunzel would drop her long hair down. The witch would use it to climb up the tower. Rapunzel was alone for many years. Every day, she looked out the window and sang beautiful songs. One day, a prince was riding his horse in the forest. While riding, he passed by the tower. He heard someone singing in a sweet voice.
Her voice is amazing. I wonder who she is.
The prince thought. The prince looked around, but there was no one.
I think the voice is coming from that tower.
He thought. He went close to the tall tower. Now the voice was a bit louder. The prince wanted to meet the person singing. But the tower had no doors or stairs. So he could not go inside. Every day, the prince stood by the tower. He wanted to hear the beautiful voice again and again.
I really want to meet this woman.
He thought. One day, the prince was near the tower. He saw an old woman in front of it. She said,
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair.
Suddenly, long and golden hair came down. The old woman used the hair and climbed up the tower.
That is very long hair.
The prince thought. Then he had an idea. The next day, the prince returned to the tower. He called,
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair.
The hair really came down. The prince used the hair and climbed up the tower. In the tower, he saw Rapunzel. Rapunzel was surprised, so she asked, "Who are you?"
I am a prince. I heard your beautiful voice, so I came here. I wanted to meet you,
said the prince. Rapunzel had never seen a prince before. Rapunzel was scared at first. But the prince was nice, so she liked him. They talked for a long time. The prince made her laugh. Rapunzel was not lonely anymore. The prince said,
I will come again tomorrow.
While Rapunzel waited for him, she sang many songs. She thought about the prince a lot. The prince visited Rapunzel every day, and they fell in love with each other. One day, the prince said,
Let's make a plan. I will help you get out of the tower.
Rapunzel was excited to see the world. She wanted to smell flowers and ride horses too. After talking it over, Rapunzel thought of a plan. Every time you come, bring me some silk, and I will make a ladder with it. From then on, the prince brought silk when he came. Rapunzel started to make the ladder. She worked on it every day. She dreamed of freedom and adventures. Whenever the witch came, Rapunzel hid the ladder. Finally, the ladder was ready. One night, Rapunzel was ready to escape the tower. So she waited for the prince to come. But the witch came first. Rapunzel was shocked, so she could not hide the ladder. The witch found out about the ladder and was very angry.
Did you think you could leave the tower? Absolutely not.
The witch shouted. Then the witch cut Rapunzel's hair. Snip, snap! Chunks of hair fell to the ground. Then the witch took Rapunzel to a desert.
You will stay here forever. You will live in great sadness,
said the witch. Rapunzel was lonely and sad again. She missed the prince. Back at the tower, the prince arrived. He was excited to see Rapunzel. He called,
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair.
The witch was in the tower. So she let down Rapunzel's cut hair. The prince climbed up. He was shocked to see the witch. He asked,
Where is Rapunzel?
The witch laughed and said,
You will not be able to find her.
The prince was very sad. So he jumped out of the tower. He fell into bushes with many thorns. He hurt his eyes, so he could not see anymore.
I am going to find Rapunzel,
the prince thought. He started to walk. He was blind and alone. He called for Rapunzel, but she was far away. The prince walked for many days. One day, the prince arrived at a desert. He heard someone singing from far away. It was Rapunzel's beautiful voice. He quickly followed the sound. Rapunzel saw a poor blind man in rags. But she knew that he was the prince. She hugged him and cried. Rapunzel's tears fell on the prince's eyes. Then something magical happened. The prince could immediately see again. The prince finally saw Rapunzel. He said,
Rapunzel, I found you.
They were both very happy. The prince took Rapunzel to his kingdom, and the kingdom welcomed her. Rapunzel and the prince got married, and they lived happily ever after.